promised they'd send annual updates, photos, let Juno know how the baby is doing as he or she grows up.
Whoa, no. I don't want photos or any kind of notification, you know? I mean, can't we just, like, kick this old school? You know, like, I stick the baby in a basket, send it your way, like Moses and the reeds.
Technically, that would be kicking it Old Testament.
Diablo Cody is known for writing unconventional female protagonists. I love her not just because of her award-winning scripts and films, but also because of how unconventional her path was to getting there. It's weird to think that she became a blogger, then a stripper, and sold Juno with no screenwriting experience. I mean, you don't really get that kind of a life story from a guy like Wes Anderson. And her screenplays show the same uniqueness of her personality. Although she doesn't have a million movies to her name, the ones she does have out have a similar type of protagonist that leads the story along. Her female protagonists are written to be very complex and confrontational, even brutal at times. They're tough and tend to appear unlikable at the surface level. They walk in the opposite direction of safety, making the audience feel defenseless, being dragged along with them and their risky decisions. And she writes them with a lot of the originality and realness that local Twitter rom-coms don't include. And this is in no way saying that all of her female protagonists are the same. They're all very different, complex characters, but they do share a similar relation to the rest of the plot. So let's start with Juno. Who's the protagonist here? It's Juno. I'm a genius. Anyways, we see that she's this outspoken, clever, and witty embodiment of the 90s. But she's not just a cute, quirky stereotype. Juno thinks for herself. She has a mind much older than her appearance and often questions the world around her. Although she kinda looks like the one that should be off, the narrative she guides us through allows us to fully understand her the most out of the almost frustrating world around her. Diablo Cody writes her characters with a certain wisdom beyond their years, and when they make a mistake, it's easy to just forgive them. Like with Juno. Her opinions and decisions seem to be made out of a place of complete confidence, which is why the fact that she gets pregnant as a teenager is a little bit confusing, but still forgivable knowing that she internally wants to make that leap to adulthood, having a personality that doesn't match her age. So it makes sense that she might risk having to do a very adult thing, raise a child, when she doesn't feel like a teenager. And she's no throwaway pregnant teenage stereotype with a breakable, shaky perspective like other shows. This allows Juno to carry the same intrepid originality among the other Diablo Cody characters.
I am a god.
Moving on to Jennifer's Body, the 2009 comedy horror where, ironically, Jennifer isn't the main protagonist in the story. Needy is. We watch Jennifer's demonic transformation occur through Needy's perspective, but even from the very first scene in the mental hospital, we know that Needy will inevitably undergo a change as well, although it's a little bit less satanic. Needy is mousy, shy, fundamentally innocent, and constantly being pushed down by her best friend from childhood, Jennifer. So when Jennifer goes through this insane demon transformation and begins a murder spree, it causes a shift in their dynamic. In the final scene, we see Needy now more tough, abrasive, and a completely different person than who she was beforehand. Although her shift in character doesn't really make her a better person. She still considers her change to be lucky as she inherits some of the demonic powers. But the main change that she undergoes is from being a pushover to finally standing up to Jennifer. A third character we can analyze is in the recent film Tully. This one is different from the two in that she's not a teenager. She's a mother on her third pregnancy, almost like the characters are growing up with Diablo Cody herself. So our protagonist, Marlo, is suffering postpartum psychosis. Although you can group her in the character Tully, the night nanny, along with her because they're the same person. The film doesn't shy away from showing you the painful, unfiltered, genuine details of motherhood in this grim, tragic style, steering the movie even further away from the other two. However, Marlo shows the complexity and boldness just as the others do. We see two sides of her, the manifestation of her younger self, as well as the current, seemingly miserable self. Although not apparent until the end of the film, until this is revealed, it allows us to understand why Marlo has acted in unusual ways throughout the film. I love this because it's a former past tense projection of a woman trying to lift her current self back up again. Marlo may not currently have the spunk or vivacity that Juno or Jennifer does, but it's very clear that her younger self once did and is helping her through it. An honorable mention for this includes the mother of cinema herself, Meryl Streep, in Ricky and the Flash, which didn't do as well in terms of criticism, but still brought up an interesting reflection on women choosing between their career or their family. Overall, I just really admire how Diablo Cody writes very original, complex female characters who aren't flattened by stereotypes. The characters are snappy, intelligent, wise beyond their years, and confident, and we see it in how they change throughout the film. So if you're just as big of a Diablo Cody fan as I am, let me know what your thoughts were. And as always, thank you for watching.
Who is the kid?
The baby? I don't really know much about it other than, I mean, it has fingernails, allegedly.
Nails, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, who is the father?